Name is Captain Steve Trevor, pilot, American Expeditionary Forces, serial number 8141921. That's all I'm at liberty to... Assigned British intelligence. What the hell is this thing?
The lasso of Hestia compels you to reveal the truth.
But it's really hot.
It is pointless and painful to resist.
What is your mission?
Whoever you are in more danger than you think.
What is your mission?
I am a... spy!
My name is David Marshall and I'm going to take you through css356. css356. Now this course is all about crime control. It's all about crime control. It's actually talking about how we can control crime. How we can control crime in a state, in a community. How can we control crime? You need to know what crime control is all about first. You need to know that crime control is the prevention and the reduction of crime. Yes, crime control is the prevention of criminal activities or crime. And it's the prevention and the detection of crime. Yes, so controlling crime, there are two ways we can control crime. Is either we control it using the informal approach, or we use the formal approach. The informal approach is actually when we use vigilante guys such as the OPC, Oduas People's Congress, which is that of the Yorubas, Bakassi, which is that of the Igbos. Then we have Hisba, which is that of the Hausas, the northern part of Nigeria. All those agencies are actually informal. They're actually informal mechanism of crime control. They actually the informal way we can use to control crime. So that is actually what informal mechanism of crime control means. Mechanism there means a kind of the strategy or method, a method of controlling crime. The structure and the method we use to control crime. That is actually what that mechanism, that's actually what it means. So informal mechanism of crime control is the use of informal means, informal methods, to control crime, such as vigilante. Vigilantes, we have examples of vigilante in Nigeria. The Yorubas, they have OPC, which is Oduas People's Congress. The Igbos, they have the Bakassi boys. Yes. Then the Hausas, they have the Hisba. Yes, they have the Hisba, and that is actually that of the north. So those are examples of informal mechanism of crime control. We use those social groups, you use those social agencies, those informal agencies to control crime, in our society. So that is informal mechanism of crime control. So when you are asked to discuss informal mechanism of crime control in exam, what they expect you to do is to define what crime control is. Then you explain the informal method of controlling crime. You give examples. You saw the you heard the examples that I gave. So that is actually how to discuss the informal mechanism of crime control. Then we have the formal mechanism of crime control. The formal mechanism is actually the opposite of informal. The formal mechanism is when we use the police, which is the agency of government set up, to prevent and control crime. The Nigerian police is actually the formal mechanism of crime control. Yes, so that is the opposite of informal mechanism of crime control. So your course material css356 is actually what it's actually trying to tell us. It's trying to analyze the various ways we can control crime. We have the formal mechanism of crime control. We have the informal mechanism of crime control. It's actually analyzing it and checking and stating those which one is more effective. Is it the informal mechanism of crime control? Is it the formal mechanism of crime control? Which of the mechanism actually is actually effective? So that is actually what your course material is all about. css356. Yes, this is actually what your course material is all about. Crime control. How can we control crime in our society effectively? The formal mechanism of crime control, are they effective? Should we change? Should we start using the informal mechanism of crime control, or should we use the two? Should we combine the two? If we decide to combine the two, then that's actually what I call comparative crime control. Yes, it's also in your course material. If you check it, you will see. If you check the outline that I posted in the class, you will see that I wrote something. Comparative crime control mechanism. Yes, if we decide to use the two, or it's actually plural, plural kind of form of crime control, or hybrid, when we decide to make use of the two to control crime. Yes. So formal mechanism of crime control is the use of the police. Is the use of police, to control crime. It's the use of police to prevent crime, to detect crime. Yes, that is actually the formal mechanism of crime control. Is the use of the police to control to control crime. Then the informal mechanism of crime control is the use of vigilante. It's the use of vigilante. Examples of vigilante is OPC, Oduas People's Congress that is that of the Yorubas. The Bakassi boys that operate, those ones they operate in eastern part of Nigeria. There was a time they actually operated, back in those days they operated, much, than in this present time. There was a time where, they go on patrol and they hold, a cutlass. If they get close to somebody who is a criminal, the cutlass, it will turn red. It will give them a signal, and they will stop their patrol vehicle. They will come down and deal with the criminal. So that is actually just a tip of how the Bakassi boys as a vigilante, as a form of vigilante, operated in the eastern part of Nigeria. It was Aba, Anambra, Onitsha, Enugu. Yes. So that is actually informal mechanism of crime control. And you can explain it the way I've explained it like this. You can explain it in an exam. I told you exam is all about, it's not about grammar. You have to you have to let the examiner know that you understand, what you have read, so you can use your own words to explain, the topic, explain, the whatever question it is. As long as you understand it, you explain it, in your own words. You see the way I've explained it to you in a simple manner, you can explain it like that. Just be flexible, but don't write out of context. Know the difference between informal mechanism of crime control and know the opposite, which is formal mechanism of crime control. Then also be able to explain some of those informal mechanism of crime control, which is the vigilante, where we have the OPC in the southwest Nigeria. We have the Bakassi boys, in the eastern part of Nigeria. Then we have Hisba. We have a Hisba in northern part of Nigeria. So you should be able to explain, how they control crime, how they operate, as an informal mechanism of crime control. Yes. If you check the notes that I gave to you, you'll see that I explained some of this, informal mechanism of crime control. I explained the example. I gave an elaborate definition there. Yes. So informal mechanism of crime control is the use of informal methods to control crime, such as vigilante, neighborhood watches, shame, and family, and other informal means that we can use to control crime, in our society. It's not only vigilante. We also have shame. Also have shame. For example, when somebody steals something, a woman went into a restaurant, supermarket, she stole something. She shoplifted, then they caught her, and then they disgraced her. They forgotten what they did. I think they wrote something on her shirt, or they wrote a plaque. They wrote something on a cardboard, I'm something like, I'm a thief, I stole this, in the supermarket, I will not steal again. So they took her around the community. So that's that kind of thing, that it's actually a form of punishment. It's an informal mechanism of crime control. We call it shame, shaming somebody, who has stolen the community. Yeah. It shows, that kind of humiliation that she has gone through. I don't think she will steal again. And it will deter others, other women from engaging in stealing, from committing crime. So it's not just vigilante. We have shame. We have neighborhood watches. Neighborhood watches, young men can come out at night, to try to guide their compound, turn by turn. They do it, turn by turn. Today this one guard, tomorrow it will be another group's turn, something like that. If you lived in a particular kind of community in the past, you should understand what I'm talking about. It's kind of turn by turn neighborhood watches. Yes. So examples of of informal mechanism of crime control is vigilante. Vigilante, we have different types of forms of vigilante in Nigeria. I mentioned 3. So you explain those 3 in exam when you discuss, you define informal mechanism of crime control. We also have shame. We also have neighborhood watches. We have family, and and other methods of controlling people's behavior in the society, making sure that they conform to the society's standard of morality.